welcome to this edition of Buncombe Life. I am here on a beautiful day, not a time when you would ever think I need to be getting prepared because a change in weather is coming. I need to make sure I got my water and my batteries and all that stuff we always tell you about this time of year. You wouldn't think of it today, but that's how it hits you. And we want to talk about two things this time. Not only being prepared for weather and the environment, but being prepared knowing your body. And that's why I'm here with Gibby Harris, who is our health director. Thank you for joining me today.
Glad to be here today, Kathy. Thank you.
Yeah, we just don't think about it. I know every time this year you and I talk and your staff and we talk about being prepared for either hurricanes or flooding and we're going to talk about that too. But I think all year long, there's a piece of our bodies that we don't think about, and that's being prepared for what could hit you. And you and I have just had this conversation.
Exactly.
We need to know our numbers. We need to know our body mass index. We need to know our blood pressure, and we need to know our cholesterol level. I am amazed with how many people don't know those numbers about themselves.
When it comes to cholesterol, 1 in 6 people in this country have elevated cholesterol levels and are not aware of it. Cholesterol in your system does not give any warning signs or symptoms until you have a heart attack or a stroke because of the narrowing of the arteries that comes from the buildup of plaque. So the only way you'll know is by having that blood test done in your doctor's office or through a screening at some place in the community.
Right, and that's just like trying to be prepared when we hear a hurricane is coming. We try to get our shelves stocked. Like you say, a heart attack can hit you and you are completely unaware that you are sitting there with that stuff building up in your system. And you and I was just telling Gibby, I said, well, you know, nobody would believe I have high cholesterol. And you said...
I do as well.
That's right.
I do as well. For years, tried to get it down with exercise and my diet, and it just would not work. I have some hereditary issues in my family that caused me to have high cholesterol, and I'm actually on medication for it. And it's under control, and I'm feeling better about things. The thing about cholesterol is there are things that you can do to prevent having elevated levels of cholesterol in your system. Your system needs cholesterol. It is something it has to have to operate well, but your body creates enough cholesterol for you to get what you need. So all of the extra fatty foods, the saturated fats that we take in our diet, the lack of exercise, smoking, all of those things contribute to elevated cholesterol levels, especially the bad cholesterol, which is what we want to prevent.
Right, and that's the LDL, the HDL, and you can find more about this on our website. We'll put up a lot of information about that. We don't want to try to explain that today. But I do want folks to know if they're not aware, if they have an issue, first of all, they need to know what their level is.
Absolutely.
You just need, it's a simple blood test, and you can find out what that level is. Then they need to know how to reduce it. Because if you don't know and you're not aware and you just eat what normal people eat, I cannot eat like a normal person because I have high cholesterol.
Exactly.
And I have to watch it. But if I were to eat like a normal person, eat normal portions that you're given in a restaurant, eat whatever is on the menu, it'd kill me.
More than likely. More quickly than later. That's the saturated fats, like I said, the fried foods, all of those things, are the donuts, the things that we all love to eat have fat in them that builds up cholesterol in our system, and it's that cholesterol that builds the plaque on the arteries and causes the heart attacks and
the sodium.
Sodium is the other issue is blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol, your BMI, all of those things are tied together. You can't tease those apart and say, I'm just going to focus on cholesterol and have to worry about these things. They're all connected because they're all affected by diet, by exercise, by what you put in your body and how you treat your body. And so we need to be aware of all of those things in order to be as healthy as we want to be and to make sure that we still stay healthy as we age.
Right, and you can't assume just because, and body mass index, that's what we keep saying, BMI. Explain that just a little bit before we...
BMI is the measure that we use looking at your height, weight, and your age that really determines whether you are a good weight that for a healthy body. And there are some variations in it, so it's not the only measure that we look at. You know, if you have a high body mass index, but you work out in the gym every day and you've got a lot of muscle on board, then that might not be a problem. But if you don't exercise very much and your body mass index is too high, then it's probably because you've got too much fat on board.
And that's an indicator.
That's something that you need to work on. And I think the other thing that's interesting is that more women have elevated cholesterol levels than men. And women have a tendency to think that sort of stuff doesn't affect them the way that it does men. Women are seeing more and more heart attacks, strokes, and a lot of it is because we have those elevated cholesterol levels and we aren't aware of it.
And we don't know our numbers. We don't know what that number is, and if you don't know it, and a lot of people say, and I've even done it, I don't want to get on the scales because I don't want to know. Well, but you do need to know, even if you only check it once a month. Cholesterol is the same way. I don't want to know it because it's something I may have to deal with, but you need to know because there are things you can do.
You'll deal with something else later that'll be much worse.
And it may be too late. So that's so true. So, but you can't judge on somebody, just your BMI, because that does not an indicator. Mine is good. My blood pressure is low.
Yes.
It's good.
Same here.
However, that one number could do me in if I don't address it.
Absolutely.
Now, ways people can address it, because if they're sitting at home going, well, I don't know mine, easiest thing to do is go to your doctor.
The cholesterol should be something that is checked when you have your annual physical every year, and we recommend that people do have those annual checkups. That's the only way you're going to know all the different numbers that you need to know, and cholesterol should be one of those things that's being measured on a regular basis. Unfortunately, with the obesity epidemic we have in this country, we're seeing young kids with high cholesterol levels.
That's another thing. Let me stop you right there, because I actually know some teenagers that say, I don't have to worry about that, and they may not be overweight, but they eat everything. They eat everything bad for them, and because of their age, they don't worry about it.
Yes.
But you're saying
we're seeing more and more children with what we used to call adult onset diabetes, with elevated cholesterol levels, because of the way we're eating in this country and because of the lack of activity in this country. So you can't just assume that this is something you don't have to worry about until you get into your 30s, 40s, or 50s. You need to be watching this as you grow up and as you age.
The Buncombe County Public Library System has stories for children of all ages. When children are read stories and interact with the storyteller, they expand their vocabulary and establish a love of reading at a young age. If your child hasn't experienced these interactive story times, now is a great time to start. There are 4 different story times offered by the 12 county libraries. School-age story time is for 5 to 7-year-olds. Preschool story time is for 3 to 5-year-olds and includes singing, stretching, and creative activities. Toddler time is an interactive story time for children aged 18 months to 3 years. And Mother Goose time is a lively language-enriched story time for 4 to 18-month-olds. To find out what story times your local library offers and their times, please visit buncombecounty.org/library.
It's one of the many ways to fight osteoarthritis pain. For more information on managing pain, go to fightarthritispain.org.
We can all be energy savers. Turn off lights. Use energy-saving light bulbs. And turn off electronics and appliances when not in use. Learn what you can do today at energy.gov/kids.
You know, we need to be making sure that our children are being checked as well.
And that's something that maybe the parents, even of teenagers, need to ask for, because people don't ask their doctors for things like this.
Exactly.
Especially teenagers who are just learning how to deal with that patient-doctor relationship. Maybe you need to say, go ahead and check it. If it's low, then
you're good, and you can wait another couple of years before you check it again.
That's right.
But at least you're
aware. That's right. They need to know. Now the second thing, and we've talked about people who have their own doctor, they have no excuse, they need to get this checked. How about people who don't have a doctor or don't have health insurance, cannot afford to just go and get this done?
There are a number of opportunities in the community throughout the year when there are health fairs and screenings that are done. People can access those. We do have a program through the health department specifically for women of a certain age. Our BSEP program, our breast and cervical cancer control program, and our Wise Women program that work with women who don't have insurance between the ages of 20-something and 60. We really focus on the 40 to 60, but you know, we can work with them and we can provide some screening through there. So what I would suggest is if someone needs their cholesterol checked, they can call us and we'll help them find a place to get that done.
Yeah, so there you hear it. If you don't have your own doctor, you don't have health insurance, or you don't have much insurance, or if you just don't know what to do, give you a call. We'll put that number on the screen and you guys can get this. This is just so important.
It is important. It's absolutely important. We'd much rather deal with an issue up front, help prevent it, than to have to work with people with heart attacks and strokes on the other end, and they'll be much happier too.
Yeah, and damage that maybe they couldn't come back from. I mean, sometimes the damage is permanent. And you know, they say an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Absolutely. And this is a very harmless check. It doesn't hurt. It's easy, and then you know, and once you know, you can address it, and sometimes those things are very easy to do. Absolutely. Now, I'm doing mine with diet right now. It's a good number. You've said you are actually on medication.
I am on medication now. I was able to control it with diet and physical activity up to a point, but because of my genetics, my background, my father had high triglycerides, high cholesterol, ended up with a heart attack, bypass surgery, the whole 9 yards. It's just in my genes, nothing I can do about it, and the medication is controlling it very well, so I'm feeling much more secure about, now that doesn't mean that I don't still watch what I eat and try to be active, but the medication does help if it comes to that.
And I want them to hear that you just said too. Just because you're on medication, which I know many of our viewers are going to say, oh, I take something for that. That's not an excuse to go out and pig out.
No. Because you've still got your blood pressure and your BMI that you're looking at, and all of those things again work together to either make you a healthy body or an unhealthy body. Right. And we all want a healthy body, so that's what we need to stay focused on.
So if you will do these, know those numbers, get those numbers checked, you will be ready and prepared, and might probably not have to. You'll actually prevent something coming in your future. Now, because it is that time of year, and when we talk preparedness, we do talk about having your batteries, having your water, having lots of things ready so that if those hurricanes or floods come, the things that can come our way, and maybe sometimes we only get 24 hours of notice when that's coming, just go ahead and already have that stuff on your shelves. I just did want to touch base with you too, because Gibby is over our emergency preparedness group for health, and there was something that they wanted me to make sure, and this is something that I don't have, that I probably do need to have, and that is an evacuation plan, a communication plan.
You really need to be able to communicate with your family, with your children. You need to have a plan in place, because if you, at the last minute, if you're struggling to try to reach somebody to find out if they're okay, or tell them to meet you in a certain place, or making sure that they're coming home, or whatever the case may be, if you wait until the last minute, what we saw happen just with that little tremor of an earthquake is that the cell phones, everybody, they showed a picture on TV outside the Pentagon. Everybody was on their cell phone, and it jammed the lines and people could not get through. So if you have a plan in place to know how you're going to communicate, where you're going to meet, and if they can't get you, who else they should need to call to help you know that they're all right, you just need to have that plan in place. The other thing we learned the other day too is that texting and tweeting do not take as much bandwidth as a cell phone call. And people who were not able to get through on their cell phones were able to get a text message through to their family and loved ones. So you need to know how to text as well. We have some people who fight the urge to learn that. Go ahead and break down.
Oh yeah, it's easy.
Learn how to send a text message, because it'll help you in those times to be able to communicate. But the main thing is to have that plan in place so that everybody knows what to do. Right, because
we never know. I know flooding a few years ago was big for us here. We didn't think we could ever get a hurricane. It came right through here. In my lifetime, I know there have been earthquakes. I've never felt one. Just the other day we had one. Many of us here felt it.
Exactly. I did.
Yeah, you just don't don't know what's coming next. So be prepared. Go ahead and do it on a beautiful day like this when you can get out and get the stuff together. Talk to your family around the dinner table. Say, you know, what is our plan? And run through some scenarios with them. Well, what would you do if this, especially with your younger kids, your people who are just driving, those teenagers, what would you do if you needed to do this? And run through it now when it's not right on top of
When
it.
it's not a problem.
That's
because
right.
when it is a problem, you won't have that opportunity.
That's right.
And it could make the difference in you being able to get your family together and for them to be safe during an event.
That's exactly
So
right.
it's very important to have that plan in place.
That's right. And I urge you to go to our website, buncombecounty.org. We'll have tons of information there that can help you educate them on some stuff that they need to know and how to know this other stuff. I will say it's just like knowing your numbers, being prepared. It's all in doing it today, so your tomorrow will be a better day. Anything else you need to leave us with?
I think if we can have our community taking care of their numbers and having that plan of how to address an issue when it comes up, I'll be a happy person.
That's exactly right, and that frees more of us up to help those that are not ready.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Great.
So stay tuned.
Thank you.
I remember how much you said you liked mine.
Oh.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
My name's Dave Ligotti. I'm a jazz singer. I play in venues in the Asheville area. After the ordinance was mandated to have non-smoking venues, my health has definitely improved. My voice range has increased. I even had positive comments from smokers who admitted that although they smoked cigarettes, they still didn't like sitting in a room that was just emanating with cigarette smoke. It's very wonderful to play in a smoke-free environment.
I'm Mike Caraway. I work for the North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission. Don't feed the bears. A fed bear is a dead bear.
Mom, I'm not gonna go to college.
What are you saying? You've got to go to college.
Their tomorrow depends on your words today. The Hispanic Scholarship Fund has the information you need to help your kids go to college.
I hope you enjoyed that edition of Buncombe Life. I love talking to Gibby because she's always so full of information. And I just want you to know that on a beautiful day like this, it's hard to believe we ever have hurricanes here, or earthquakes, or flooding. But it's the same way with your body. When you're feeling good, especially when you're young, you think, I just don't need to pay attention to what my blood pressure is, or my BMI, or my cholesterol. It doesn't matter, I'm too busy. That's the time when you need to look at it. Get ahead of it. Just like we talk about preparedness, get ahead of it. Please know your numbers. Call us if you don't have insurance. We'll hook you up so you can know. And then give you tips on how to take care of those issues. And go to our website and learn how to get prepared. At least make that plan. That was great information she gave about the cell phone. Oh my goodness. If you can tweet or text in an emergency, do it. That's the easiest way to do it. And then know how to get in touch with your folks if there is an emergency, because even though it's pretty today, we don't know what's coming tomorrow. And if you're from the mountains, you know that's true. I also want to encourage you to go to our website and sign up for, it's called Nixle, and it's on the front page of our website. Go ahead, give us all your contact information, and I promise we won't send you a lot of notices, but if there is something that you need to know and it's an emergency, we will text you, call your cell phone, call your home phone, we'll call, we'll email, whatever you tell us, however you want to be contacted, we will contact you with that information, and you know it's coming just from us, so you can trust it. So go sign up for that Nixle today, get prepared, and do it today while it's pretty. Don't wait for tomorrow. And watch us next month on Buncombe Life.